And a very warm welcome back to the programme. It's 10:21 and we've been joined in the studio by the former stars of Show Sports Premier League coverage, Derek
Don't
White.
say that, former.
Sorry.
Kill me now, Hani. Former. The former.
No, but there will be a future, I guarantee it, I think the great thing, though, is you can go on reinventing yourself over here, endlessly.
Like Madonna kind of thing. She's done it a few times, hasn't she? Maybe get away with that.
I think loads of people, John, come here, I remember a few years ago the property boom and everybody was a sales consultant and you can just reinvent yourself as anything here in Dubai.
Of course you can, yeah, absolutely. Now, as you were saying before we went to the break, the great benefit of doing localised coverage of Premier League is that you could bring in some of the many people from the world of football, and you could fly them in and then you stick them in your studio here and they would talk directly to the viewers here. So and in some ways you're connecting those stars of football with Dubai, and equally you were suggesting that you do the same thing in Abu Dhabi. You got the background of the Corniche, let's say, but now they seem to be going for this commoditised approach. Is this just a money-saving measure?
I think so. I think it's perhaps it is. But I just think it's quite sad. I think as an expat, there's a connection between Rob and I and the guests, and they feel they're they're sitting on a Saturday all weekend. We've got all the games we had. You get 10 football matches on a Saturday. Any team can watch Wigan. If you're a Wigan supporter, you can watch them Wolves, whoever it is. And you can sit there and watch them. And I think it's friends of mine who have had the show time would say it's great because you feel as if you're missing back home, but you feel comfortable. You're talking to Rob and I, Reedy's on, or Big Sam Allardyce, or whoever it may be, and there's a connection there. And I think that's sad that that's gone now.
Did people like Sam Allardyce enjoy their trips over to Dubai?
Hate it. He hates it, Sam. Yeah, he's been coming to Dubai longer than we have. He loves it. He's coming over again. Plug, we're at the Maidan doing 11 nights at the Maidan for the World Cup. Myself, Derek, Sam's coming over, Reedy's coming over.
We had Ricky Hatton last night.
Ricky Hatton was with us last night. Brilliant. And Sam loves Dubai. He brought Blackburn in the February, and they all stayed at the Leroy Meridian again, and didn't do much training, had a real R&R, but it did old style did them beautifully, and they finished the season like a train. And Phil Brown is coming over as well to join us. He brought Hull when they stormed up to get promotion. They brought them to I think it was Meridian as well, and they did it so they. Yeah, and Harry's over and loves Dubai. They love the racing. I mean, how can you not love Dubai? It's absolutely sensational.
It's a great trip for them because they come out on the Friday and they do a double weekend, we call it. So they come out on the Friday night, they watch Saturday, Sunday, their goals on Monday. If there's a game during the week, they do that. Then they do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday the next week. During the week, they can play golf, they can go out, but it's a holiday for them, and they get paid for it, of course. But it's a good gig for them.
It's a good gig if you're not simultaneously managing a football club. So does it tend to be resting managers?
Yeah, resting managers. But it's honestly genuinely amazing how many people we've had in that studio that have just then gone back to England and got a job. Paul Jewell did it. Dean Saunders. Sam did it. Reedy did it. Who else is... Ian Dowie did it, and then
we get them a job and we can't get a job ourselves.
Yeah, they owe us a favour. It's frightening how many have come over. It was a standing joke that if you're out of work, you'll soon be in work when you get back.
A lot of the thing is as well, I think, John, is goodwill. I mean, one of the shows we had which would never happen in the UK. We had Harry Redknapp, we had Phil Brown, we had Steve Bruce, and Peter Reid was on our show anyway. So we had 4 English Premier League managers on our show, and they actually phoned us and asked us. They were on holiday, it was international break, and says, can we come on the show with you? And we're like, what? He says, we're not getting any money for you. And he says, no, we want to come on. And we had a great time with
it. Very good.
Now, what of the Premier League season that's just finished? How did that match up to the previous 2 that you covered here in Dubai for Show Sports?
We've been lucky that the 3 seasons we've had here have been brilliant. The quality of last season wasn't as good as before, because when you lose huge players like Ronaldo from the Premier League, or Tevez went to Manchester City from Manchester United's point of view, it just didn't have, and Alonso left as well, it wasn't quite quality-wise as good, but it was still exciting. I mean, that's the thing about it. You can watch an Italian game, or I honestly struggle sometimes to do it, and you sit through it. I think there's something wonderful about the way the English Premier League operates that is so exciting. It's so different. It's so end-to-end. As even some of the outstanding, the Manchester City-Tottenham game, for example. It was absolute incredible drama when Tottenham secured the 4th place. So even though the season wasn't of the quality perhaps of before, it still provides, just wonderful entertainment, I think.
And the quality isn't there because the money isn't there anymore, presumably, and a lot of the clubs are struggling under huge debt piles.
Well, they are. I think there's going to be a major problem for the English Premier League in terms of, Ronaldo went because he goes to Spain. There's less tax in Spain, and the new taxation laws in the UK is going to affect a lot of big stars coming. But they'll still attract them because I think it's the best league in the world. They'll still attract them in some way. They go a way around that. I don't know how they do it, but there's always ways of paying players.
Yeah.
And are there any new players that seem to be heading our way? Any interest?
I think after the World Cup, I think when there's a World Cup on it sort of just lies a bit dormant because people are watching. There'll be a star from somewhere will appear that maybe Premier League managers, they'll all be out there and the scouts will all be all over the World Cup watching stars. But then a lot of managers say, I don't like picking a player in the World Cup. Somebody who's like El Hadj Diouf, who's absolutely magnificent for Senegal, turned out to be not so magnificent when he got to the Premier League. But I think until it finishes, that's when the transfer activity will start.
And what about these players? They seem to live in an incredible bubble these days. They are conspicuously wealthy beyond your wildest imaginations.
It's Sky Sports' fault. In the nicest possible. Well, when I started at Granada, I'd sit with Sir Alex Ferguson and do the fixed odds in the morning with my boss. We'd have a cup of tea and a bacon sandwich and all that kind of thing. And there was me from the local television station, Granada Television, at Manchester United's training ground, and that was it. If you go there now, there's about 50 television stations from all over the world for the press conference. You can't have any access because there's just too much press for players and managers to deal with. So what they do now, which is a real shame, is they do a really pretty boring Thursday afternoon presser the managers do, where everybody sits down, they do the television, then you do the written press. But players, because they're mobbed wherever they go beyond belief, because they're like film stars now, they're kept away from the public, which is a shame because players are... People put them in these pedestals. They're not. They're just normal human beings and normal lads. Yeah. And they'd like more access. I'm sure they would to the press, but it's kind of not feasible, is it? Really?
Unfortunately, whatever way you look at it, I went to the '92, the first year of the English Premier League with Middlesbrough. The average wage then was £250,000 for an average player. There was obviously Shearer and guys that were making a lot more money. Now it's £750,000 for an average player. So you think on top of this, guys like John Terry on £6 million a year. I just think it's a shame because even at the clubs now, the players, because they get mobbed so much, they take them directly in an underground car park. I think there should be a connection between the fans, signing autographs outside before the kids and stuff like that should be signing and getting photographs, and that doesn't seem to happen as much. And as Rob says, they're normal guys, these people, but I was an ex-player. I missed out on the big money. I did okay, but
you're not normal though.
No, I missed out on the big money. But it's what can you do if you were offered $6 million a year? I'm sure you would take it.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
You wouldn't take a cut, would you?
I wouldn't take a cut. No, I just find it sort of a real conundrum. This idea of players who, with the best will in the world, might be huge intellectuals, for example, and their key skill is...
You're talking about Derek again, aren't you?
Yeah, dribbling a ball or whatever, or making sure that free kicks generally hit the back of the net, and that's their entire focus.
I'm not so sure that's right. I think, honestly, it's like Ricky Hatton last night. Ricky Hatton is a multi-millionaire. He's a boxer. I wouldn't ever dare even assess his intellect because the guy's got magnetism. He's brilliant. He's a man of the people. I mean, what a lovely fella. He does so much work for charity, and people say, all he does is hit somebody in the face. The guy's an absolute legend. You can say the same about some of the work the players do for charities, for their own. It's like Craig Bellamy gets slaughtered. He's got his own Sierra Leone charity, hasn't he? When underprivileged children. I think it's Dennis Wise, for example. Dennis Wise, one of the most maligned footballers around, privately, quietly, has got his own charity. He was going to run the London Marathon, but got stuck here with a volcano, couldn't get back to England. The money he's raised and the work he does for underprivileged children, for disabled children as well, is absolutely frightening. It never gets reported.
And he doesn't really want to talk about it either. He just waits to go and do it.
Well, that's very interesting, and let's explore a little bit more about that in a couple of seconds. At first time, it's 10:30, time to go over to the Aaron News Centre for a quick catch-up with the latest news headlines.